I love Army of Two. And I love the sequel, The 40th Day. But I never got around to playing the third game, The Devil's Cartel, and I pretty much didn't know it existed until you guys started mentioning it in the comments of my other two Army of Two videos.
I was excited for The Devil's Cartel, but I was over it after the first firefight.
Devil's Cartel is great with a friend.
I still play Devil's Cartel, maybe I'm the weird one.
Both me and my son played the full trilogy of these games. The Devil's Cartel has one of the best shocks in gaming ever.
Devil's Cartel was fun.
The Devil's Cartel is a game that breaks my heart.
We don't talk about Devil's Cartel.
I don't care what anyone says, the Devil's Cartel was fucking fun. I do not recommend the Devil's Cartel.
Devil's Cartel is slept on for no reason.
We finsta need a Devil's Cartel review.
And now that I've finally played The Devil's Cartel, I'm starting to think you guys want to watch me suffer. The Devil's Cartel released in March of 2013. It was the only game in the series developed by Visceral Games, of Dead Space and Dante's Inferno fame. With the change in developer also came a change in engine from Unreal Engine 3 to EA's own Frostbite 2. Gotta save on those royalties, am I right? And with these changes also came a shift in design, tone, and storytelling, with Rios and Salem turned into supporting characters to make room for the new TWO operatives, the imaginatively named Alpha and Bravo.
Hey, don't worry guys, we brought Alpha and Bravo. Something's bound to go wrong.
Set solely in Mexico, Alpha and Bravo are the new recruits brought along by Rios and Salem to rescue some hostages from a cartel compound. But unfortunately, they only find one surviving hostage, a girl named Fiona, who was captured by the cartel's leader, Bautista. Fearing the whole cartel is about to descend on their position, Salem surprisingly just decides to leave everyone else behind to make his escape, saying that saving the girl isn't worth the risk. But while he's escaping in a stolen truck, he gets blown up by an RPG.
Salem!
Alpha, Bravo, and Rios try to save him, but the truck explodes, injuring Rios' leg and forcing the squad to evac via chopper. And in typical Army of Two fashion, it's an over-the-top action scene.
Move! It's too hot down here! Gotta pull up! Only one shot at this.
5 years later, TWO is hired by Mayor Cordova, a politician that plans to bring down the cartel. Alpha and Bravo tempt fate by saying that nothing would happen, and of course, shit hits the fan when they get ambushed, leading Cordova to be captured by the cartel's lieutenant, El Diablo. While escaping the city, Alpha and Bravo uncover that one of the TWO's informants is actually Fiona, serving as the female voice in your ear and Alice's replacement. The trio set off to take down El Diablo, kill off Bautista, grab Cordova, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all of this to blow over. Gameplay-wise, the Devil's Cartel strips away a lot of the identity established by the first two games in the series. Previously, there was an emphasis on using flanking tactics to take down enemies to progress through the levels. This took the form of the aggro meter, where shooting bigger, louder guns would pull enemies' attention, allowing your partner to sneak around the battlefield and get flanking angles. But that's all gone now. There's no more aggro meter in the game. There's supposed to be an aggro system, there's even an aggro stat on weapons, but it never comes into play. And you used to be able to control your AI partner with simple commands to have them hold position or advance in either aggressive or passive modes, letting you dictate the flow of aggro generation. But without the aggro system, issuing orders to your AI partner in the Devil's Cartel is completely pointless. It's so pointless that I forgot about them for about 90% of the game. There were only about 3 or 4 times in the game that required me to use them, and all of those were just for flanking a turret. Instead, you just run through the enemy forces, shooting them or stabbing them with these repetitive animations. Occasionally, enemies with machetes will run at you, and you'll get into these stupid confrontations where you mash the A button to fight them off. Settle in for repetition. This game has a lot of it. As you kill enemies, you'll fill your overkill meter. Activating it turns you and your partner into unstoppable killing machines. While in this mode, you'll fire explosive rounds, you're invulnerable, and you don't have to reload. And if both partners have overkill mode available, you can enter double overkill, which adds more damage and slows time. It's insanely overpowered, and you'll be using it all the time. Thankfully, it's really fun. There was an overkill mode in the first two Army of Two games, but the only way you could get that was to max out your aggro meter on one side. Whoever had the most aggro would just be an unstoppable juggernaut, while the other could just sneak around the entire battlefield, wiping out everyone from stealth. And remember those cool moments from the first two games when Rios and Salem would need to defend their position against waves of charging enemies, and they'd go back to back, spinning around in slow-mo and gunning down everyone like they're in Bad Boys? Yeah, those are gone now, just completely gone. The weapon customization is a fucking joke now. And not in the tongue-in-cheek way that they did it in the 40th Day. In that game, you could Frankenstein together guns with barrels, stocks, and parts from other guns, and even use soda can suppressors. I always get a chuckle out of seeing a golden M4 with an AK-47 barrel. It's ridiculous, but hey, at least it's fun. Hell, even though it was just bare bones, the first game at least had some fun with the weapon customizations. If you wanted a suppressed rifle, you could do that. Or if you were feeling like you needed to overcompensate a little, you could roll up with a gold and silver minigun. This time though, you only get the basic, bog standard parts and weapons to choose from. There's a few options for stocks, barrels, attachments, magazines, and sights, but none of them really changes anything. I used a silencer on my M4 for most of the game, and it never felt like the silencer did anything, because most of the enemies always reacted as if I didn't even have one. As I mentioned, there is a stat system, but it's needlessly overcalculated. Half these aren't explained, and like I said earlier, I don't think the aggro stat does anything. There aren't any weapons or parts that have that draw of like, I can't wait to unlock that upgrade. And that extends to the paint jobs. There's nothing fun about these paint jobs. There's a few dull colors, a few color variations on urban or digital camos, some snakeskin camos, and some barely visible silver-plated options. To unlock more options in the customization screens, you have to level up. Throughout the missions, you'll reach checkpoints, and the UI will jump scare you to slowly tally your experience gains, money earned, and your unlocks progress. Character customization also makes a return, and I have to give praise where it's due. There are a ton of masks and body armor options to choose from. There's even a Skull Candy sponsored mask and armor set, complete with shitty high schooler basehead gaming headphones. But there's also a really fun mask that's a replica of Isaac Clarke's from Dead Space. And I loved the idea that this was Isaac's first mission before joining the Ishimura. And for some reason, there are tattoo customizations, including some sponsored by the A&E show Inked. But the tattoos get hidden by a lot of the full sleeve body armors, so I didn't touch these. But the worst part about all of the customization options isn't their lack of impact on the game or that they're just worse versions compared to the previous games. The worst part is every time you're on this screen, you have to listen to this fucking terrible music that plays on a loop. This fucking generic ass, monotonous ass, looping ass bullshit plays endlessly. Thankfully, there's a bug where the music will just randomly cut out. There's a few other little things that I want to call out, like the UI. The UI looks like shit. It looks like it was designed to be a mobile game with touchscreen controls. And even though they changed to the Frostbite 2 engine, the visuals are fucking terrible. There's constant issues with textures not loading in. I mean, just look at how dull their armor looks when it fails to load. Just brown, dusty, low-resolution, minimum viable products. Just enough to be passable for the Monster Energy chugging, Skull Candy, and DC wearing Dude Bro Energy, which, as I'm saying this out loud, is actually a pretty good dig at my own past self. At least they added dismemberment to the game. This shit never gets old.
Oh, that's a lot of damage!
So, for the story, they were definitely trying to do something. The problem is, it just doesn't fucking work. When Alpha and Bravo meet up with Fiona, she tells them that Cordova's bodyguards, two other TWO operatives named PI and Castle, went to a nearby resort to find Cordova. Instead, the two met their end at the hands of the cartel's masked lieutenant, El Diablo. Alpha, Bravo, and Fiona push through the resort to go after El Diablo, but he escapes in a helicopter and proceeds to blow up the hotel, leading to a pretty awesome sequence of escaping the collapsing building. The team survives by landing in the resort's pool, then sets off to find Cordova at a nearby church that the cartel is using as a stronghold. Fiona takes up watch while Alpha and Bravo make their way inside, eventually heading into a poorly lit mausoleum. Inside, you're forced to use pistols during this section because these are the only weapons with flashlights, for some reason.
The pistol's all we got. Get over it.
Of course, El Diablo escapes with Cordova again. The trio hijack another truck and an action chase sequence kicks off as you shoot out the back of the truck, and Alpha and Bravo discover some mines that can be thrown at the pursuing vehicles. Suddenly, a destroyer truck crashes the party, requiring you to shoot at fuel tanks to slow it down, and eventually it gets hit by a train.
Finally! We're not out of the woods yet.
Alpha and Bravo finally catch up to Cordova, but they get ambushed by El Diablo, who runs over another TWO operative. Captured and tortured, Bautista and El Diablo show up, and the big reveal is that El Diablo is...
Because you already let me die once.
Salem. Salem toys with the idea of shooting Cordova.
Salem, leave him alone. Batista doesn't need you unless he thinks you're gonna flip for him, and you won't, will you? You're just gonna get in the way. No! Salem! You're a dead man, Salem! I swear it. Of course I am.
And Alpha and Bravo escape, informing Rios that Salem is alive. On their way to the extraction, the two link up with two more TWO operatives, Chewie and Baker. Rios orders them to take Salem alive, but Bravo rejects the idea and turns off his radio.
I'll find Salem. He's going down.
You have your orders, Bravo.
Bastard!
I'm with Bravo on this one.
Not your choice to make. You bring that man to me alive, or I'll...
Yeah, Rios, going into a tunnel. Call you back.
God damn it, Bravo, you better...
What are you doing?
Shoot.
Everyone starts arguing about where El Diablo and Bautista went. Chewie and Baker disagree with Fiona, giving one of the best lines in the whole game.
I've been studying Bautista for 5 fucking years. My gut says it's the ghost.
Girl, don't nobody give a fuck!
At the ghost town, Bautista sneaks up on Chewie and Baker, killing one and holding the other at gunpoint. And again, it's not clear if Bautista will let him go, but he ends up shooting him. Fiona runs after Bautista, but she gets cut off from Alpha and Bravo. She gets captured and taken to a quarry, and Rios shows up in a TWO chopper to go after her. And this is where the game really picks up the pace, and it's a fun, over-the-top action thrill ride. A homing missile gets fired at the chopper, and Rios dodges it, only for it to then come back around and hit a bridge, destroying it as we see multiple camera angles of the wreckage. Rios flies the chopper down low next to the sunroof, and Alpha tries to pull Fiona out through it, but an RPG forces Rios to pull up before another RPG hits the chopper. Alpha and Bravo jump to safety, somehow, and they eventually meet up and save Rios. Going after Fiona, they find her in a compound with Bautista. After capturing him, Fiona gets her moment to face down the man who took her as a hostage as a little girl.
I have killed many fathers and mothers, huh? Taken many children, faced down many little girls and little boys with guns pointing at me, screaming for revenge. And I tell each and every one of them the same thing. I don't remember you.
Fiona, we have to get out of here.
You deserve to die.
Your hands, please. This place is about to get hot.
Fiona, you have to let it go.
No.
You've got him. He's unarmed. We're gonna take him and Salem back. We'll deal with them there. You don't need to...
Heading after Salem, they get ambushed by him and he grabs Fiona and explains why he betrayed TWO. It turns out Salem didn't die in the explosion and he's bitter about being left behind for some random girl. And he's all butthurt about it because he took a bullet from Rios in Shanghai to save the city, confirming that that is the canon ending to the 40th day, which I still don't understand. Rios very clearly left alone in the chopper during the final cutscene, and his voiceover doesn't even partially imply that Salem survived.
I'm sorry.
With the hostage threat revealed as a lie, the Red Army entered Shanghai within an hour. The UN followed. I came to this city with the only friend I had left, and I'm leaving alone. No matter what anyone tells me, that I did what I thought was right, that anyone else would have done what I did, I will never forgive myself for not having the courage. I'll never forgive myself for bending to the will of a madman. I'll just never forget.
Then, out of fucking nowhere, Salem shoots Fiona in the head, then shoots Rios in the gut before escaping.
What was it all worth now? I always liked you two.
No, Fiona. No. No, Rios, you copy.
Rios finally comes around to his senses and tells Alpha and Bravo to kill Salem. And I just gotta pause here. When I saw this cutscene, I immediately noticed something wrong that highlights the laziness of the developers. I bet you probably didn't even notice this. In this scene, Rios has a tattoo on his arm reading Semper Fi. Now, that would be a great tattoo for a military veteran like Rios, except for the fact that Rios was an Army Ranger. The first mission of the first game is Salem and Rios as Army Rangers. An Army Ranger wouldn't have a tattoo of the Marine Corps' motto. How do you miss something like this? Anyway, they finally track down Salem in a courtyard and there's this awful gunfight with no functional cover. So you just run back and forth, picking off one enemy at a time, getting shot in the ass the entire time. During this scene, Salem mentions Alice saying, "What about her? Rios left her behind too."
Hey, did you ever hear from Alice? Or did Rios leave her for dead too?
And this makes no fucking sense because neither of them actually reacted to Alice dying in the 40th day.
Oh, God, no! Hurry! Ah, shit! It never ends!
Let's push to the end of the boardwalk and find some breathing room. I guess that's it then. I always figured we'd end up going out big, not holed up in some rat's nest next to a river. I guess we're lucky we got as far as we did. Salem.
I want to kill him.
Kill who?
Jonah. I just need one clean shot at him.
Then let's do it.
Eventually, Salem hops into this armored car and tries to run you over, but you just go into overkill mode, shoot at the car until it's destroyed, and then run up and strap some C4 to it.
I've got his attention.
Copy that. I've got the C4.
Go. C4 planted. Get clear.
I need assistance, brother.
All right. Take me to Rios.
No, you're not going anywhere.
You managed to even make Rios hate you, you evil sack of shit. That's not how this is supposed to go down.
Bravo gets the honors of choosing Salem's fate, and again, disregarding Rios' orders, he chooses not to shoot him. Every single time there's a chance that someone won't get shot, they've had the character choose to shoot them, but this time, when it makes the most sense, Bravo pussies out. Instead, they let the Mexican police take him to a prison where he's gonna rot for the next 20 to 30 years. And we get a scene of Alpha saying Fiona will be buried and they're gonna be taking a long time off. Then we see Salem in the prison carving Alice's name into the wall, and in a mid-credit scene, some figures show up at his jail cell and he turns to the camera and smiles. And that, my friends, is how the Army of Two series ended, on a cliffhanger, with one of the main characters turned into a villain with inconsistent motivation. No DLC, no future games. That's it. Despite how monotonous it gets and just how poorly written the story is, it 100% nails what it's going for with the over-the-top buddy action co-op shooter. The banter between Alpha and Bravo starts off irritatingly generic.
Heads up, those barrels are explosive.
You think we didn't know that? Red barrels always explode.
That's not true.
You guys aren't big gamers, are you?
But it eventually gets better as they start cracking real jokes at each other.
Bastards took my wallet.
Get over it.
I had that picture. There's your sister in there.
Damn it. Took mine too.
All right, see a way in? What? Who said?
Nothing, man, nothing.
Fine. There's a collapsed tower over there. If we climb up and go around, maybe we can get in the back way.
Oh, man.
What?
Nothing. Let's move. These guys are sick.
Running straight into a machine gun. Not smart.
Isn't that what we just did?
Yeah, but we're fucking awesome.
And my favorite is this recurring joke that Bravo is gonna retire after this mission and go buy a boat.
Do this shit forever, man. You know that.
Still, you fishing?
I can catch fish. You don't even know.
Huh. So what do you use? Dynamite?
No more days like this when I have my fishing boat.
I know. Won't you miss it?
No, man. That's what video games are for. Hey, man. Hang this shit up. Go have your family.
Well, we're both getting out of this one, partner.
Yeah, right.
Hey, stow that attitude, soldier. That's no way for a boat captain to act.
You got quiet all of a sudden. You worried about your girl?
Yeah, a little.
It's okay, man. I'm sure she'll be just fine in the closet with the other inflatable novelties.
Shut the fuck up, Captain Ahab.
When the ending cutscene was playing, I was chanting and praying for them to mention the boat one last time. Maybe showing Bravo sailing off toward the horizon, but instead they just left me with blue balls. If this didn't have the baggage of being the third Army of Two game, or maybe if it had released in 2010 instead of 2013, I think people would have fallen head over heels for a game like this. But unfortunately, it had to try to pick up the story from the choose your own ending of the last game, and it just can't avoid the comparisons to the other games in the series. It lacks the creativity and the tactics that the original game had. It relies too much on the overkill mode, and it runs about a quarter longer than it needs to. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to a dull and uninspired game. Like an overhyped summer blockbuster, it's full of action that you'll immediately forget once it's over. If I had to give Army of Two: The Devil's Cartel a score, I think it'd be... Girl, don't nobody give a fuck! Out of 10.